have wanted to do is to try to actively stay in touch with our members in the community throughout this. It is really hard to believe that it's been like 6 months since this all began, and the evolution and journey for us has at least felt as if it has had forward motion throughout. We went from a period of being closed to being open and figuring out with the underlying philosophy of we wanted to be open and open safely, what that would look like and how we would be able to provide service, build community, and create meaningful experiences, recognizing that the things that we used to do all were not available to us in the exact same way. But what was available to us was the community. And what was available to us is and continues to be a really talented and committed staff who I need to share with you are working tirelessly to figure out how to create those meaningful experiences, as our service pledge says, in a safe and secure environment for all people of all ages. So over the last couple of months, we've talked about some of the things that we're doing, some of the things that we're not doing. So today I'm going to pick up from where we kind of left off, and you all can ask questions along the way. There is a lot new. There is a lot new. Last month, we launched our new website. And if you have not been to ctucsonjcc.org, I encourage you to do that. The look and navigation of the website is far easier. And it was really important to us in this period of time in particular that we leaned into creating this new website, recognizing that it was going to be one of our main ways of communicating information and for people to find information about what we're doing and what's going on at the J. And we launched that in September, and our traffic has been terrific. Those of us that last saw each other in person in February and March remember that we had a very leaky roof that was over the gymnasium that was causing us a lot of discourse. And there was a recognition that after 15 years, the 68,000 square foot roof needed to be retired, and a new roof needed to be commissioned. And we were very fortunate to work in partnership with the Federation and Foundation, who provided us with a loan to be able to get that project successfully completed. And that project at the end of August or the first week of September is completely done. And so we have a brand new roof over what was the original part of the building, and the other roofs that are here in the building were part of subsequent construction. So those are also new. We completed our construction on the Sarver Tennis Center. So in addition to the new courts that were put in May of 2019, we now have what really is, I think, one of the best, if not the best, tennis centers in the city of Tucson. The courts are state of the art. They're the same surface that they use at the US Open. And now we have a building to accompany that where we can not only over time create activities and socialization, but we also have a point of control so that we have the ability for members and guests of members to use that facility exclusively and not have it be just open to anyone that wants to walk on. And we have also completed our pickleball courts, which sit to the north of the tennis building and are getting wonderful usage throughout the day. All of our services now that are available primarily by reservation only. And that is both a way for us to make sure that we are managing the amount of traffic that we have and making sure that we can keep things safe and reasonable. But it also gives assurance to all of our members and guests who are coming to the J that what they would like to do is available to them at the time that they would like to do it. And I think that many of those reservation-based systems are likely to continue as we move through the COVID situation into whatever that future new state may look like. I am pleased to share with you that we're adding a few new services starting really next week. We're going to have indoor racquetball and squash available by reservation only, and those are for 90-minute sessions. We're going to start reservations on the 24th for people who want to reserve with a partner to come and just shoot baskets at one of the baskets in the gymnasium. And we're going to introduce our youth skills basketball clinic and our adult volleyball program at the beginning of November. So for those of you that have been part of this journey or on calls with me in the past, we had said that the gymnasium was the next thing. And I'm really pleased that we have figured out a path to begin to use the gym and to use it actively. Additionally, our JCare program, which is our program for children after school, has been actively involved with children all day. As children are learning in a remote environment, we have about 40 children who come here every day. Their parents drop them off and they do their remote learning here at the J. And while that is fantastic in many, many ways for the parents, I think it's also been a real benefit to the children who have been able to effectively have gym and do some activity and run around that might not be available to them only learning in their home. And they've been able to have some socialization, which comes as close to replicating what school might look like as we possibly can. When we're on school break, which sounds funny, we still continue to offer non-school activities. So this week, a number of schools are on fall break. So we have kids here who are not in school, but they're just experiencing fall break camp the way we have for many years in the past. Schools are going to start going back in person. And that process will begin over the next couple of weeks. And we have figured out a way in consultation with our medical advisory committee to be able to provide transportation for up to 7 children from a school not located here on our campus to the JCC. So we're working with Ventana Vista and Manzanita to be able to bring some students here and not have to have their parents leave work to go get them. So we're really excited about the ongoing evolution of our service, but everything we add and everything that we do is with the idea of making sure that it can be done in a way that takes the health and safety of anyone participating, of our staff and of our community in first. We are going to have our first in-person event on Sunday the 21st for adults. Our sculpture garden will be opening with a new show on Sunday the 25th, and people can sign up online. We have 30 spots available per hour. And I know those spots are going fast, so if you go to the website, you'll be able to come and see the brand new show. And then following the opening, we will be making times available again for people to sign up and come and tour the show. So I encourage us to do that, especially because they tell me with some certainty that eventually it's not going to be 100 degrees in the middle of the afternoon. And it will be lovely to be walking around outside at the sculpture garden. Our film festival is going to kick off. In the coming weeks, you're going to get an announcement of the 30th anniversary of the Tucson International Jewish Film Festival, which will begin with 2 events in the late fall of this year. The main festival will take place in January of 21, and then we're having 2 post-festival events. So really top-notch films. It will all be done in the virtual environment. It will not be done on Zoom. We have a platform that is designed specifically for film watching, and the films will drop at certain times, and you'll have the ability to watch them at home at your convenience. You'll just need to make your own popcorn if you like to nosh when you watch a film. So there's lots of great things going on, and there's activity in each and every one of our departments that continue to go on. I'm going to pause for a few moments and see if anyone has any questions or if there's anything you would like to discuss besides me potentially tap dancing.
I'll ask a question. Okay. I would love to come to the J. I'd love to come to activities. Honestly, Todd, I still don't feel comfortable. And when you say you're having an event with 30 people, I sort of gasp, other than going to the supermarket and navigating as best I can, you know, uh, yeah. So how do you ensure that those people that are attending the events are healthy? I mean, is it just, yeah, that's the question.
And that's a really fair question, and I certainly understand. The reason that we've gone to 30 people is that the sculpture garden is vast, and people will need to come through our entrance at the west part of the parking lot where the Holocaust Memorial is. Everyone who comes in will get health screened. They will get their temperature taken. They will need to be in a mask. We actually are setting up the parking lot that day with cones in between each spot, so people are not even going to park next to each other. And then people will have an hour to be outside between the Garden of Hope and the Sculpture Garden, which is adequate space based on the CDC guidelines. We actually exceed those guidelines to provide adequate distance. In between each of those sessions, we're going to do some cleaning so that the surfaces that people may touch will be disinfected. We know that one of the ways, and this was kind of our own internal wrestling match, that people interact with sculpture is not just visually, but people often like to touch the sculpture, to feel the medium that the artist has used to create their work. So we will be able to then create some disinfectant to clean those areas off. So we try to keep as much distance in each and every activity. So if people are coming to use the fitness center, we have 30 people per hour or hour and a half session that by reservation that come. They go through the same kind of health screening. We then bring them upstairs. We have every other piece of cardio equipment is shut down so that there's some distance in terms of your ability to work out, and people all wear a mask while they exercise. We have not restarted our indoor group exercise classes. We've moved some of those classes outdoors. So rather than having 30 people at a time do indoor cycling, we now have 12 people at a time that cycle outdoors on the pool deck. So we are, in my view, exceeding the guidelines that the CDC and Pima County Health Department have set and trying to keep people at their comfort. And we certainly are not insisting or pushing anyone to come back before they're ready. And we have maintained some online group exercise. And I know some of our personal trainers are training people using the Zoom platform so that people can access us and interact with us in a way that's comfortable. We also know that one of the things that people can do for themselves is both from a physical standpoint and an emotional standpoint and a mental standpoint, stay healthy, and exercise or visiting art or even just being physically distanced in a room with someone often helps with all of those components. So we understand everyone's going to make their personal choice, and we are trying to make it as safe and comfortable. We're also, and the last thing I'll say on that is all decisions that we make in this regard are not just made by the staff who really wrestle with them and understand the weight of the decision, but we have an incredible medical advisory committee who has been very generous with their time. And there are things that we've ultimately, either we've said no or they've guided us to not do it so that we don't overextend. It's kind of our own internal check and balance.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Yeah, Todd, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, my name is Nina Cohen. We haven't actually met. I'm a newcomer to Tucson. And honestly, one of the reasons that we moved here was for the JCC, because we had known about it over the years, and it's wonderful. obviously we've been so profoundly disappointed that, we hit it at the wrong time and it's been limited and we haven't really been able to know the community. But this is somewhat of a personal question, but I really would love to contribute in some way. I am actually a licensed clinical psychologist. I'm retired, but I just recently retired, and I did sign up to be a volunteer and I've never heard anything back. And I'm really disappointed because, again, it sort of would be a way for me to connect and maybe offer some skills that could possibly be useful. You were just talking about health. That includes mental health, very importantly.
Nina, I really appreciate your saying that, and I'm sorry that we've not reached out. And I promise you that after this meeting, I will reach out and we'll
I'll
connect.
hold you to it.
There are things that we can certainly use volunteers to assist us with. They're not as plentiful maybe as they had been pre-COVID world, but I would love the chance to be able to talk to you, see where we can engage you and welcome you appropriately to the community.
Good, thank you very much. I'll hold you to it, Todd. Good, thanks.
So there was a question in the chat about how membership is going. So membership is an interesting animal right now. Overall, our membership is probably down about 20 to 25% from where it was when COVID began. There are colleagues of mine who tell me their memberships are down 45 to 55%. So in that sense, I feel good. But the reality is that we have held on longer and more successfully to our members, in part, I think, because we've continued to communicate. We will continue to try to grow membership. The interesting thing with membership is it is the one area in general that there is not a cap on how many people, according to the CDC. How people use the JCC is restricted based on the guidelines that we've outlined. So we have a fairly active outreach plan to start not just reaching out broadly to the community, but also very specifically to those who left early, those who left in March and April, in part because finances were so difficult. And we recognize that there's been a little bit more pressure to help members make membership affordable. And we are fortunate that we continue to do that through the generosity of donors who have helped us make not just membership, but early childhood and summer camp this summer available to those who need those essential services. And to allow us from that perspective, really to continue to operate. So we're very grateful to those members who said we're not going to continue or we're not going to come right now, but we'll donate our dues. And we're grateful to those members who have stuck with us and found, even through the summer when the fitness center was closed, a way to exercise using the pool or using the tennis courts. And we have tried to keep as much available to members as we can. So I am hopeful that membership will stabilize and begin to grow. I don't believe that we'll continue to see a downturn in membership unless there is another downturn either in the public health situation overall or potentially in the economic situation. But I think right now we've kind of hit a stable point. But it's not where it was, and it certainly had an effect, a real effect on us from a financial standpoint, because membership is one of our largest income streams.
So sort of along those lines, what has happened to the Stars of Giving program? Because anybody that I have spoken, I think people feel they can fade away into the darkness.
So very directly, I'll share with you that our strategy has been the following, and we're working that plan as we speak. First was to do what we needed to do on the expense side from the agency to get us to a stable point. And we spent a great deal of time and effort over the summer to reduce our expenses. The one expense we increased was we hired a grant writer. And since April, we have taken in $277,000 in grants.
Mm.
We have spent the last number of weeks securing gifts from all of our board members. And actually, starting next week, I am reaching out personally to all of our stars to set up meetings, to start securing the 2020 Stars of Giving component. And then we will have a public outreach campaign that will go on electronically. But Linda, you may actually have an email from me.
I have the email, and I just got it, but I wasn't quite sure what, I mean, I knew that there was something like that in the conversation, but just what the
that is our path. We really wanted, we had heard, and I'll be really transparent from some of our donors when we talked to them out of sequence. Are you writing grants? How is your board doing? Have you cut your expenses? So we wanted to be able to attend to all those things in a responsible way as we begin to talk to our donors and say, here's what we've done, and here's what's left, and here's how you can help.
Great.
So I'm really pleased that our board is not only 100% of them have made a commitment, 70% of them have made an increase this year, which I think really speaks to their commitment on behalf of the J.
That's great.
I hope that answered your question.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What else? So what I can assure you is we will continue to evaluate the way in which we provide service to the community. We will not do anything in a aggressive or irresponsible manner in terms of adding things. We very quickly are making decisions into next year about things that we likely will continue in the virtual environment. We're making no assumptions that the general condition will change before next summer. And our plans will reflect the fact that we're going to continue to assume the same level of both restrictions and access for all of our members into next year. And we're going to continue to try to provide new and innovative and collaborative programming that will be available. I sort of feel like we're a bunch of TV network executives as we're trying to plan our fall schedule, and I hope we get an Emmy this year, but I don't know that we will. But we're looking at new things, and I would encourage you, if you're interested in a really interesting program, we have an event called Amplifying Voices that starts this Sunday night. It's available on Zoom, and you can sign up at the website. It's a conversation with a professor named Mark Dollinger, who wrote a book on Black power and Jewish politics. And as we begin as an organization to discuss a dialogue over a series of 6 different programs between our 2 communities. So look for your email. We send an email out every Friday to all of our members outlining upcoming activities. And then on Wednesday, we have another email that comes out with different activities and opportunities. The website is all available to you. And if you do use social media, there's an ongoing presence on both Facebook and Instagram with things that are going on here at the J. For those of us that have been around a long time and those of us that have been around longer, if you do look back at our Facebook page, on Thursdays, we're showing a variety of pictures from when the J was first built, all the way through today. I know some of us on the call have seen our children when they were little kids at camp, and they're now grown and married adults. So it is really fun to be able to, during this time, explore the rich and long history that the J has had in the community.
Can I just add something?
Sure.
Nina, I sent you a private message of places that not just Todd, but that the community would love to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Todd.
You're welcome. I thank you all for spending some time with us on a Thursday morning. I wish you all the best, and we'll be back again next month. We're going to continue to do this, and likely, even when we can come back in person, we'll have some regular town hall opportunities.
Qualify, as they say.
Todd,
Yes.
could I just ask very quick? This is Nina. Somebody just sent me, she told me a message, but how would I receive that? I'm not very computer savvy.
You know what, Nina? I'm gonna copy that message, and we'll get it to you. We'll get it to you on email. Liz, if you'll send it to me, I'll make sure to get it to her.
Oh, thank you. Okay, thank you
No
so
problem.
much. Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Take care.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Todd.
Everyone have a wonderful, wonderful day.